Hello, it's me, Doofy Doo, with episode 3 of the Doofy Doo talk through for Shiren the Wanderer. When we last left Shiren, he was getting ready to encounter the most hated enemy in the game, the dreaded Rice Changer. These next 3 floors are the most dangerous floors in the game. That's true now, and it'll be true even more in the post-game. One of the reasons is this guy, the Field Bandit, with his do-rag and bandito mask. The Field Bandit is more or less a pothead. Every item he walks over, he transforms into a weed, which is a useless item in this game. In real life, not so much. But the Field Bandit is like, aren't you a +2 radical, dude? You know it would be even more cool though? If it was weed. And he does that with every item he steps on, so you have to be really careful about putting items on the ground in these stages. Why would you put items on the ground? Because of this shiny orange monstrosity, the Rice Changer. And there it goes. That is the sound of a Rice Changer vomiting on one of your non-equipped items and turning it into a big rice ball. I'm gonna go ahead and put my best items on the ground so he can't transform them. You might be wondering, why don't you just kill the Rice Changer, Doofy? Because it's actually a good idea to store up a few rice balls on these stages so that you don't starve later on. What other item? I'll save this Scroll of Blessing and then get a couple more. And now that I want him to puke on me, he's just headbutting me, of course. There we go. Alright, let's kill it quickly. Kill it. Die, you horrible thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 big rice balls are more than enough to make it to the end of the game, assuming they don't go rotten. A Rice Changer, by the way, is what happens when Snooki is impregnated by Birdo from Super Mario Bros. 2. There's the first enemy that does fire damage. Fire damage not affected by the strength of your shield, so I could have an Iron Shield plus 25 and it would still do 10 damage every time. Important to remember later on. Another one. Look at him up there smiling smugly, thinking, you got a lot of nice items there. Be a shame if someone wants to puke all over him. I'll try this staff. Staff of switching, not what I wanted. I got lucky. I was afraid he was gonna rice change my pot. I'll need that. Whoa! Dragon double team, kinky. Those guys can do 20 damage in a single turn if they hit me at the same time, so I'll take them on one at a time in this little corridor. And Bimmy and Jimmy are no more. Too many items. Shiren studied under the Mike Hagar School of Fine Dining, which says, if you find food on the ground, don't ask questions, just eat it immediately. If you put rice balls in a jar, they won't go rotten. So I'll go ahead and stuff this jar with balls. I made fun of old Jawman, but he was right. Inserting many items at once is quite a thrill. Scroll of Confusion will come in handy if I ever get monster housed. This is another enemy that makes these floors extra deadly. The evil soldier does decent damage on his own, but after you kill it, it makes this zombie-like dead soldier that, oh, there, it just did it. That levels up another enemy as soon as it touches it. And with the exception of the Field Bandit, every enemy on these stages levels up into something terrifying that can kill you in 2 or 3 turns. However, if you have a lot of really good items like I do, you can follow the dead soldier around and kill the enemy it levels up for beaucoup d'expérience. Kinda hoping this dead soldier will run into a Rice Changer because the rice boss gives you a load of experience and all you have to do is throw a rice ball at it to kill it. Ah, another flame puff. Looks like Spyro, and he's pissed off. Sorry, Spyro. I just didn't like Skylanders. I don't know what to say. With the Staff of Sloth, you can defeat almost any enemy. Just do this little dance I call the Tank Tango. Stick and move, and as long as you don't run into a dead end like I just did, you can do it almost forever. 45 experience, not a ton, but definitely more than... Oh, here's the other one. We'll do the same thing. Hey Spyro, give me 100 gems and I'll let you live. You can see 20 damage as opposed to 10. 3 hits and I'd be toast. Literally. Even this little guy doing only 10 damage. That adds up quick, so you have to be careful. But the floor is done. I'll go ahead and hold down A and B. Oh no! Put down my jar full of rice balls. Hopefully it doesn't do anything. Ah! My staff of sloth, my favorite staff. Rice changer, you are the worst. It's a good idea to heal up before the next floor. You never know what you'll run into. Here's a skull mage. None of its spells are really that dangerous at this point, but once it levels up, watch out. I'll weaken this rice changer so I can one-hit him. Hopefully we won't run into too many more of those. Oh no, another one. I really don't want him to rice ball my scroll of confusion or my jar. You know what? I'm just gonna postpone it. Maybe that'll be the last one. Ah, they're everywhere. Oh, I'll fight this one. Why couldn't I run into like the nacho changer or the pizza changer? Those guys are a party wherever they go. And they get stuck with the rice ball changer. I'm not even gonna mess with it. Use this scroll of light. Scroll of light reveals the entire floor layout, locations of enemies and items, so it makes any floor a breeze. This guy doesn't really pose any threat, and he just teleported me. Teleportation may seem like a minor inconvenience, unless, and I'll pick an example completely out of the blue, you were, say, 4 steps away from the door to the town, and the Skull Mage teleported you a couple times all the way across the forest, and you starved to death trying to get back, and you lost a lot of cool items. That would really suck. Hypothetically, of course. I cried for 7 days. Hopefully this guy will level up the rice changer I postponed. Oh, and he has horrible pathfinding skills. He's decided to moonwalk into this tree. I really want him to get over here. Maybe if I slap him on his bony old behind, he will teleport. Ah, and he just leveled up the fire puff on the other side of the stage, of course. I was gonna switch with the rice changer, but if I switch, there's no way to get far enough away from him before he rice changes something precious. Could go kill that flame puff. It's not really worth it. I just want to get away from these floors. I'm just gonna put my jar full of rice balls on the ground so I don't starve and stab this thing to death. Hopefully it won't do anything horrible like it always does. Oh, my blast wave scroll. I needed that rice changer. Oh, how I hate you. I hate you so much. Finally, the town. No more rice changers. Let's check out the accommodations. Hey, this room actually has a nice view. Nice clean futon. Looking good. Talk to Kazula about flame enemies. Doubling in an explosion, that's important to remember later on when we run into tanks. How much, Granny? 500 Gaitons? Don't take this the wrong way, but does anything extra come with the room, sexy grandma? Wink wink, nudge nudge. I'm gonna save my money for something else. Every time you die and come back through this town, it's important to come to this restaurant. And yeah, you're right, Toshio, this place is a dump. Better say goodbye. And go to the large house at the bottom right over here, because it will advance a side plot that opens up some useful items and locations later on. That's one of the nice things about Shiren in a lot of roguelikes. The game world doesn't really change from run to run, but in Shiren you can actually advance the plot, so you feel like even if you die, your death was not in vain. Go ahead and go into this monster house. And here we meet Gaibara, the richest man in town, and he is very angry. And obsessed with pot. Pot and weed, that's what this game's about. What, this jar full of rice balls I need to survive? Go ahead, take a look at it, incredibly angry man. You bastard. why couldn't you at least just take the rice balls out first, or at least let me pick them up off the ground? They're just gone. I don't see what's so funny about me starving to death. Yeah, you better. I will. Every time he laughs, 4 seagulls materialize above his head. Nice poster of an apple with a heart in it. I guess that's supposed to be a pot. What a loser. Later on there's a pot store over here, but for now, pot is still illegal in this town. Yeah, gotta borrow the famous pot breaker. He does have a magnificent mustache though, like the wings of an albatross. Here's another storage center that we will not be using because we are not wusses. We'll use it after we beat the main game. Hey, what you looking at, dude? Table Mountain, another scrolling cutscene. Close-up view. You know, the locals call this Mount Pingina, but we know the real name, Mount Vaginas. By the way, ladies, if smoke ever pours out of your vaginas, it's time to see a doctor. Yes, it's magnificent. Scientist, eh? Maybe you could research that rice changer that transforms the structure of matter with its vomit. Seems like a lucrative area of study. Oh, and it's a great hall monster house on the first floor. You can run into them. Welcome to Shiren the Wanderer. Will Shiren survive this horrible predicament? Or will Little B have his revenge? Find out next time. This is how to be a rice changer. Vomit all over a stranger. Transform his favorite staves and scrolls. You'll make him say, "Oh, how I hate you." At least I have some food.
You got a lot of nice items there. Be a shame if someone wants to puke all over them.